Hello, gringos y gringas, beaners and beanerettes. Welcome to El Racist Latino. Today, Tuesday, 14th of October. As you see, we have now a starting soon loading screen. So yeah, step by step moving forward. And I know about the issues in Rumble. The video quality is not as high. I'm still figuring out how to go live on Rumble. So, but I know about that problem, and it will be fixed from today. So this video should be as high quality in Rumble as in YouTube, same as in X. I will start posting from today on X. Cool. So what we're gonna talk about today? We're gonna talk about the Gaza peace deal. It's been top number one in the news for about a month since the whole thing started. And as we saw today, there was the release of the prisoners of war or hostages or whatever you want to call them from both sides. 20 live prisoners were released from Hamas to Israel, and about 2,500 or 2,000 were released. Palestinian prisoners or hostages also that were in the hands of Israel were released. 250 of them had a full life sentence. So yeah, they also refused to release some of the names, which is not what they said they would. Like they promised that the official deal was like none of the prisoners, none of the Palestinian prisoners that Israel is going to release have to have been in October 7. And then they gave these political prisoners that were in prison during October 7, and they also said no. So of course this is just Israel fearing some leadership, and yeah, that the movement just stays alive. But yeah, we will talk maybe about that later. Today we're gonna talk about the what's next on the Gaza peace plan. We're gonna talk about phase 2. There was some fire. I don't want to say bomb or explosion because we don't know. We're gonna figure it out in Cairo. So we're gonna figure out what the fuck was that. And then I also have a question: is aid already coming in? I heard something about 400 trucks now are gonna come in per day, and then it was 600. Nobody. It's not like nobody knows, but I haven't heard anything that anybody knows for sure that aid is coming in or not. So we're gonna find that out, and then we're gonna finish with the last topic would be what's next. What's phase 2? I heard that phase 2 is includes boots on the ground from international countries, including the US. I heard about 200 boots or 200 troops. France and even Indonesia said they're putting in apparently the largest number from everybody else, from all the countries. And I don't know which other countries. We're gonna find that out. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends if you like the stuff. And yeah, I always forget. I have to write it down because I always fucking forget to promote myself. I'm here for this, man, not fucking, like and all that stuff. That helps. Of course it helps, but I fucking forget. So I have to remember to remind you to please subscribe and like, make a comment, write in the chat, all that shit, be active. And if you have a question, just fucking, shoot it. And yeah, let's start. So, okay, this is what we're gonna find out here. So, Cairo bomb. Let's see what's going on there. Or let's say Cairo fire, 13 October. See what we can find. Explosion shakes Cairo hours before Trump's Egypt visit. So it was an explosion. Gaza summit shockwaves. Blast shakes Cairo hours before Trump's Egypt trip. So it was before the even the trip, before the meeting, before. Well, he stayed like 2 hours in the country in Egypt in total. So the whole Middle East tour was like 8 hours for Trump. He stayed, I think, four or something, 3 or 4 in Jerusalem for this for this speech and stuff where he begged the President Herzog to pardon Netanyahu in front of everybody. Man, he must have been pissed. I can imagine him walking back. It's like that fucking cocksucker. Like how that's so low. That is really low. It's like asking your girlfriend to marry you in public because you're not sure if she's gonna say yes or not. So you fucking, put the extra pressure. Not fair. That's not fair. But, it's Trump. So I don't think that's gonna help. If anything, it's gonna make it worse. That's just my opinion. But the problem is, what I keep hearing is that even though many people, even a lot of Israel supporters and stuff, want Netanyahu out, still the problem with this court case, he has a court case for money laundering and for corruption. It's been there for a couple years. And when the war is over, he's going to have to answer. First of all, he's out of power. And second of all, probably he's going to prison. Like Israel, if it's good in something, is actually calling out its own corruption. So they have been known for putting their own presidents, politicians, prime ministers in prison. Also, Israel has both Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Herzog. So if he gets this peace plan, this pardon, then maybe he's more motivated to stop the war, because it's kind of obvious that he doesn't want, that he's trying to sabotage every step of the way, every time things start getting kind of diplomatic. Same with Iran. So I just think, or not me, many people are saying this, that they think that this is the reason why Netanyahu is trying to prolong this war so he can stay in power and not go down, like lose his position as a prime minister and also be charged for corruption. So Trump, throw him this curveball. That was just cheap, in my opinion. But anyway, let's see what the explosion in Cairo was all about. I'm getting a lot of India news in my algorithm. I wonder, what the fuck? This Y on there also. Yeah, so the rumors were that Netanyahu was not invited to this peace summit in Cairo. And apparently because of Erdogan, he had some push there, but apparently Trump pushed that he would get invited, and he got invited in the last minute, but he still didn't go. Like, he knows after he bombing Doha was a bad move on the chessboard, man. Like, everybody's pissed now. So let's stay in topic. Blast reportedly shook parts of Heliopolis and New Cairo, I guess that's the name of the town. Witnesses reported dust clouds. Powerful blast, no casualties. Well, everybody's scared about a false flag, right? Everybody's scared about the first terror attack or the first explosion or something that's gonna kill people, especially the high value humans, which are the Americans, in this particular case, because killing an American would create problems in America, obviously. So obviously the false flag would be trying to blame Iran for it. Obviously everybody's nervous about that, and then this would actually push the US into a full war with Iran, or maybe blame someone else, maybe blame Hamas, maybe whoever, but just a false flag, some terror, violent attack that's gonna harm or kill innocent civilians somewhere in the world. Could be a Middle Eastern, Muslim, Islamic, Arabic country. Could be a white country in Europe, in America, I guess Australia. It doesn't really matter. Somewhere in the West, right? Latin America is us. We Latinos, man, we get zero of this shit. We have to go get up and go to work. We don't really have time for the fucking terror attacks. Officials said initial signs point to monorail test or a construction incident. Egyptian authorities denied any malicious act, saying no attack took place. Who? Egyptian authorities, okay. And some social media posts claim blast occur near a military base in Cairo. Well, how many are there? Because if you have a fucking military base, Egypt is a kind of a militaristic sort of government. So if they have a military base, like so often like a police station or something like this, then that's not really relevant, because then anywhere in the city is close to them. You know what I mean? So let's find that out. Military bases. How many? Let's ask. How many military bases are there in Cairo? Let's see. So there are at least 2 major military bases. Okay, that's a good start. Means it's actually relevant that it was close to a military base. Al-Masa Air Force Base and Cairo West Air Base. Al-Masa blah blah blah. So we have to find out which one, I guess. We'll find that out later. Officials said incident was controlled or accidental, calling it not malicious. We knew that. The explosion came just hours before the summit. Yeah, that's why we're checking this out. No, not in Cairo, in Sharm el-Sheikh. I'm sorry. I apologize. I knew that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, then this is not that relevant, I guess. Neither Israel or Hamas are invited to the summit. Trump said he didn't know why Netanyahu wasn't invited to the summit. He did invite him in the last minute. Egyptian leader said he doesn't know why he's not invited. Come on, man. How biased must you be to ask that question? Dude, he just bombed us like next to the Qatari Emirate, Sultan or whatever the fuck. Why did he... why the fuck? looking like the guys. Dude, why didn't you invite Netanyahu to the fucking conference? Seriously, bro. No, man. Not cool, Netanyahu. Nobody likes you, bro.
We hope that
Egyptian leader said U.S. president presence crucial. Yes, it is.
we hope that phase 1 will be implemented fully, and the 2 parties will honor their commitments, and that will lead to the second phase. And with American support, with American engagement, and also the support of the international community, we believe that we can reach agreement on phase 2 and to be implemented in good faith and good intention. Phase 2 is more difficult, more complicated, and we have to keep President Trump engaging, and that's very, very important because it's all about his engagement, it's all about his vision, and he's the one who's able to deliver and to end this war and to bring an end to the whole conflict of in the Middle East. The main guarantee is President Trump and his commitment to implement his own vision and to have the mission accomplished. That's all about. It's all about his engagement and his commitment and applying his pressure, his leverage, to use it within the parties in order to force them to implement and to honor their commitments. We are approving, we are endorsing the deployment of the international force. We have specific parameters, like this force should be endorsed by the international community through the Security Council. We must have a Security Council resolution which will endorse the establishment and the deployment of this force. This is one. Number two, we need American engagement and even deployment on the ground. And number three, to identify the mission and the task and the mandate of this force. And it should be, of course, a peacekeeping nature, not peace enforcing, you know.
Yeah, okay. So I guess this explosion in Cairo is no longer relevant if the peace summit was in fact in Sharm el Sheikh. So that's fair. I guess the first topic of the conversation is gone. Besides, as Egyptian authorities say, it's just an accident. Accidents happen. Not everything is a conspiracy theory, you know. So let's find out, is aid coming into Gaza? Let's find this out. This was a day ago. Humanitarian aid begins moving into Gaza as ceasefire holds by NBC.
Now that Israeli troops have pulled back from parts of Gaza and a ceasefire is in place, local journalists can fly drones, giving the world a wider view of what is left of this 25-mile-long strip that's home to
83%
Before this war,
destroyed.
I met Nadine Abdelatif in Gaza.
Imagine, just imagine being a Palestinian resident of the north of Palestine, not necessarily in the south, but where the heavy war was. I mean, imagine being part of this 83% of the people, where your house, like now finally after 2 years, there's a ceasefire, you can go back home, and then you're all excited, and then you get there and it's just fucking a pile of rubble, you know. I mean, I can guess that most of them already kind of, you know, expect that in some way. Like, yeah, I mean, they just, basically you just walk your way, because most of them are walking. I don't know if you have seen these videos, but it's just masses of Palestinians just walking home. Let's see. There it is, for example.
Today, Gazans are on the move.
So imagine being one of
by the
these.
thousands.
Imagine being one of these people, right? Like they're all happy, finally, blah blah blah. You know, it's a long walk. Obviously, we are so lucky, right, that we have buses, not even cars, but just like public transportation. You know, oh, there's one car there. Holy shit. That was a quick car.
Already, yet despite the by pain, said this man, our children
Look
are
at this here.
martyrs, and our homes
This
have
car
been
at
destroyed.
200.
Yet despite the suffering, we're returning. We're going back. Israel's military.
Yeah, so imagine being one of those people, and then you get there and the fucking everything is just a pile of rubble, and like more or less, like I guess most of them expect that to the point where if your house wasn't destroyed, then you consider yourself lucky. It's not like, oh shit, my house was destroyed, but it's more like winning the lottery kind of thing. Like if you buy a lottery ticket and you lose, you're like, yeah, shit, I lost, you know. So this is the kind of expectation that Palestinians have, just going home and expecting their house to be destroyed, and then actually being excited because it wasn't. The 17% of those that get to keep their home, right? So yeah, let's find out about the humanitarian aid. Yeah.
Now that Israeli troops have pulled back from parts of Gaza and a ceasefire is in place, local journalists can fly drones, giving the world a wider view of what is left of this 25-mile-long strip that's home to 2 million Palestinians. Before this war, I met Nadine Abdelatif in Gaza.
We have to live in peace and we have to live in safety. That's our rights.
We've been following her story as she's been displaced from town to town, living in makeshift shelters, and after her older brother was killed in an Israeli airstrike. I spoke to her again today.
How are you processing all of this?
The first thought is that you're happy, and that's buried. That's buried under much sorrow, guiltiness, much just like hurtness in my heart, witnessing things I never thought in my life I would ever be able to witness.
A little aid is now trickling in, but only a few dozen trucks. Clearly, many more are needed. The Israeli bombings
There it is. Only a few dozen trucks. This was This was published yesterday. So a few dozen trucks had come in. Yeah, I guess it's early. Okay,
This may have stopped, but not the misery. Palestinians today uncovered dozens of decomposed bodies under destroyed buildings, adding to the 67,000 dead medical officials say they already knew about.
how many?
Buildings, adding to the 67,000 dead.
67,000. That's the original. That's the official number, right? It's so complicated because nobody, like from this side, nobody believes these numbers and whatever. But let's assume that's the number. So I have heard some, experts, definitely people more like smarter than me, saying that they would say the real number is about 400,000, up to 500,000 people, just because if 67 is just the people that were just found on the street, then almost 10 times that. I mean, if you have a building, if you bomb a building that has, I don't know, 20 apartments in there, let's say five floors, yeah, 5 floors building, and then there's 4 apartments in each floor, right? That's 20 families, average 2 people per family, or average 4, let's say in Gaza, but let's say that half of them were inside and the other 2 were out, or even more, let's say mom and 2 kids was inside, the father was out working or hustling or whatever, and then a bomb strikes. Then you have 3 people of that family buried and 1 guy just alive. There's no bodies, man. All of those 20 families in that building that just collapsed, whoever was inside that building is not getting accounted for. So 83% of the country has been destroyed. So imagine how many people are under rubble. So I don't know. I don't want to say that this 400,000 whatever number is accurate. Nobody can say, nobody can know. However, it's definitely not only 67,000. Let me put it that way, or whatever the number. If you complain about the number itself because it comes from the Gazan health ministry, which is, they say, run by Hamas probably. If you don't believe that number, then it doesn't really matter. Like, we can just assume that 80% of the people are buried in the rubble, right?
Medical officials say they already knew about. 67,000 uncovered dozens of decomposed bodies under destroyed buildings, adding to the 67,000 dead medical officials say they already knew about.
The 67,000 that they knew already about.
What we're expecting in the coming hours.
So as you said, the 20 living
Who's it?
hostages are supposed to come out quite soon, in the next few hours. In exchange, Israel is supposed to free about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. But there is still this open issue of the remains of 28 hostages who died in captivity in Gaza. And the Israeli military tonight gave Hamas until Thursday to find them and hand them over, because some of them might be buried under rubble.
It's going to be a major point for Israel.
Otherwise, Israel says it's going to form a force and go looking for them.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is, of course, this is another excuse for Israel to be just aggressive and just behave. It's about the behavior. It's not about what you do or not. It's just like, either you return them or I'm gonna bomb you again. Man, from those 28 dead hostages, like, some of them you might have killed them by collapsing buildings in their heads. So now you have 5 days to find them all over Palestine, wherever they are, bring them back. Doesn't matter how many buildings are on top of them. That's just fucking aggressive, Instead of, the problem is that Hamas is not gonna go, yeah, they're here, go look for them. Obviously, nobody's allowed in those tunnels, but...
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on...
2 days ago, the latest is not longer the latest. Locals in Gaza rush to 8 trucks. Let's see. Of course they're gonna rush. Of course, man. They don't even let them arrive. Well, obviously, man, they're fucking starving. This looks like a scene from Star Wars, man. With this building here in the back, it looks like a spaceship that just crashed. Are they in Tatooine? Are they in Tatooine or are they in Gaza? Are they in Palestine? Look at this fucking Well, I guess this is in the south, right? In the Rafah Pass. In the border with Egypt. This must be in the south, is what I assume. That's where the trucks are coming from. They're not coming from Israel, so they have to be coming from the south. That's another thing that pisses me off. Like Israel boosting because they allowed so much aid in. How much aid are you giving? You are the one doing the destruction and you're not giving these people not even like you're patting yourself in the back because you allow aid. Well, thanks for allowing me to eat. You know what I mean? Man, such an apartheid state. It's crazy. And they have Israel, they are like they have this entitlement, right? They don't even feel bad about it. We do the destruction, they have to do the aid, and we are nice enough to let the aid in. Right, so there's no information here. We need to hear people talking about it. 13 hours ago, there we go. Let's see. Israel peace deal takes hold. For now, we are good. It's been 2 days. How many though? How many? Are you gonna talk about it? Let's see what Al Jazeera
After more than 2 years of Israel's war, the Gaza Strip has turned into nothing but a wasteland. Tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians are sleeping rough with little food or water. Some aid trucks were seen crossing into the Strip in the past hour. Under the Gaza ceasefire deal, at least 600 trucks are supposed to enter every day. The United Nations estimates 92% of all residential buildings across the Gaza Strip have been damaged or destroyed since the war began. Palestinians now face the immense challenge of rebuilding their lives with limited resources. Let's bring in Al Jazeera's Hindal Hudari, who's in Deir Bala in central Gaza for us. Let's start with the aid situation. The ceasefire is holding, Hind, but aid is crucial right now for Palestinians. What are you seeing on the ground in terms of the amount of aid trucks coming in?
Amount. That's a good first question.
So let me
How
tell
many?
you where I am right now. I'm on the entrance of the Qusayfin border. As you see behind me are trucks empty, waiting for the green light to enter and upload the food or the humanitarian aid. Now, we have been here since the early hours of the morning. At least 18 trucks of wheat flour entered so far, and according to
18. Trucks. Man, the sunlight is too bright. 18 trucks. Dude. Oh man, what a joke. Did that fix it? It actually didn't fix it. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay. Oh man, 18 trucks. They said dozens in the other video, didn't they? Dozens of trucks. And these 18 trucks of flour. Maybe I interrupted myself. She's gonna go like 18 trucks of flour, 18 trucks of whatever, beans or what. Let's see.
At least 18 trucks of wheat flour entered so far, and according to the trucks that were carrying the flour, they said that they are going to deliver these flour bags to bakeries. So we're expecting bakeries.
So this is what I was saying at the beginning. About 600 trucks carrying aid expected to enter Gaza daily on their first phase of ceasefire deal. So officially supposed to get 600 trucks a day. So far it's been 18 only with wheat flour, basically.
Bakeries to
they can make arepas, right?
Once again.
No, that's corn
now,
flour.
What we are expecting today is at least 600 trucks, including gas, fuel, food, shelter items, medicine, and this is supposed to be entering every single day. Now, 18 trucks so far since the early hours of the morning is a dot in the ocean. We are expecting
That's
more
10
trucks
loaves
to
of
enter.
bread.
We know that tens of trucks entered inside the crossing now. They're
Overreacting,
uploading food, so we're expecting them to enter, to cross back to the middle area and to the southern area in the next couple.
Let's find this out. Deir al-Bala, Gaza. So where is that? Deir al-Bala. No, even Google Maps doesn't say Gaza or Palestine. Fuck, that's mean. So okay, Deir al-Bala. So this is where you are though, but it's far from the border. Interesting. So if the aid is coming from here, this is the Egyptian border, right? No, wait. Yeah, this is the Egyptian border. So, and we have the Rafah central. So Rafah is split in two basically. So you have the biggest part is in the Palestine side. Okay.
To cross back to the middle area and to the southern area in the next couple of hours. But again, Gaza needs way more than that. We're talking about at least 2 years of nothing. Now it's the time to flow aid, food, and everything the Palestinians need.
Right, and the ceasefire now, Hind, is holding. There's no more fighting. The sound of guns is silent for now. How are people feeling about the ceasefire? Is there a sense of relief that the fighting is over for now? What are they hoping for the future?
Folly, yes, it's ceasefire, it's no bombs, it's no airstrikes, but the heart...
600 people have died of malnutrition. 600 people have starved to death in Palestine.
Folly, yes, it's ceasefire, it's no bombs.
Since October 23, but most of them has been in the last 6 months.
It's no airstrikes, but
Probably
the
all of them.
heartbreak is huge. We're talking about Gaza being completely destroyed, a wasteland. Wherever you go, where I'm standing right now is on rubble. Wherever you go across the Gaza Strip, it's completely destroyed. Palestinians do not have the ability to even think, how are they supposed to be starting? How are they going to stand up on their feet? From where are going to start to build their lives? Everything's collapsed. No infrastructure, no food, no water, no education, no health system, no freedom of movement. Dozens of Palestinian families are waiting to reunite with their families abroad. We're talking about thousands who are waiting for medical treatments. We're also talking about thousands of Palestinians that are still trapped under the rubble.
Yeah, you see. Then many Israel troops have filmed themselves blowing up large portions of Gaza, including residential homes. But is this like on their way out? I heard that. I don't have any proof. I didn't want to mention it because I don't have any proof. But apparently some of these tanks or like, you know, let's say military vehicles were just shooting at people and bombing on their way out. They were driving out of Palestine, or not out of Palestine, but out of this 53% of Gaza is not going to be controlled, and they're like freeing 47%, I guess. And the people that were on the IDF that was in that 47% were retrieving to now the new area, and on the way there they were fucking shooting at people and exploding more stuff. Like, is that necessary, bro?
Rubble. So from where do Palestinians start? This is the real struggle now. After
They see them like cockroaches, right? It's just like walking, oh, Palestinians, on the way out. It's like there's no political goal here. It's just, it sounds like hate. It sounds like, yeah, literally they are cockroaches for them. Just a bug that you just have to squash so you can then take the land or whatever.
Ceasefire, where Palestinians have been on survival mode for so long. Now it's the time for them to wake up to reality and to start thinking from where should they start. But they're also waiting for the borders to open, and they're also waiting for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, which is more important after they lost everything they have.
Hind, thank you so much for bringing us the latest there from Gaza. Hind al-Hudari in Deir al-Balah. Well, here's a snapshot of the staggering challenges that Hind described there for Palestinians in Gaza right now. 2 years of Israeli attacks have injured nearly 170,000 people. Thousands require long-term rehabilitation and treatment, including hundreds suffering amputation, paralysis and blindness. But Gaza's health services have completely collapsed. 38 hospitals and dozens of health centers have been destroyed or forced to close, leaving the population with almost no access to medical care. And a severe famine is gripping the Strip, with 1 in 4...
I didn't know it was that many. 38 hospitals have been destroyed. I think it's only Al-Nasar Hospital which is open. I think only one hospital is left. But I didn't know there were 38. Jesus, I thought it was like a couple, 2, 3 or something. 38 hospitals. 25%, 1 in 4 children is suffering from acute malnutrition. Yeah, that kind
4 children suffering acute malnutrition. Aid agencies warn starvation is spreading rapidly. Many of the water and sanitation facilities have been damaged or destroyed, leaving 96% of households without enough water to meet even basic needs. The destruction is near total. About 300,000 housing units have been reduced to rubble. And education has also been wrecked. Israeli attacks have destroyed 670 schools and rubble.
And they say houses, right? 300,000 houses, but these are buildings. Like, not one person don't live here. One family don't live here, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5. Maybe a couple more on top, who knows? But let's say 5, like my example, including the ground floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's not a house. That's an apartment building, bro. Those are 20 families. This building goes all the way back here. So actually this is realistic that 4 families live here. Or let's say in the worst case scenario, rich neighborhood, 1 full family for this whole floor, right? So this is the kitchen, this is the bedroom for the kids or whatever the fuck. So still is 4 families living here, man. So you can multiply this by 4. I don't know.
And education has also been wrecked. Israeli attacks have destroyed 670 schools and
800 educational institutes. Fuck. That's crazy.
65 universities and educational institutions. Let's now speak to Olga Cherevko, who's a spokesperson for the UN Humanitarian Affairs Office, OCHA. She's joining us from Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Olga, thank you so much for your time. Let's start with the humanitarian situation, if you can, and if you can tell us about the aid situation. We understand that for the first time in months, aid is starting again to flow into Gaza. How is the humanitarian operation shaping up since the ceasefire, and how is it translating into relief for Palestinians in Gaza?
Thanks so much, Holly. So on Sunday, I actually spent the entire
day... By the way,
day...
I just subscribed Al Jazeera, so I ask you again, please subscribe, like, if you like the stuff, share and comment. Thanks.
At Camp Shalom, where the trucks began to enter, and we sat there for several hours. And during those hours, I saw many items enter, like frozen meat, like fresh produce, shelter items, tarpaulins. There were also, of course, regular food parcels, flour, medical supplies, and then many other items. So this is a really positive sign. I think there is a really positive atmosphere in the air. People are finally daring to hope after all this time. And yesterday I was in Gaza City speaking to some of the people who have just returned, some of the people who never actually left, and all of them said that this is finally a moment of relief for them, and they can finally think about the future and then figure out what is next for them. So of course this is what we have been doing.
Let me ask you about some of the items that have entered before we discuss the challenges, because there are no doubt challenges in increasing the aid operations. There's talk about cooking gas entering Gaza for the first time since March. That's a crucial lifeline, no doubt. Can you tell us more about this and what difference it's making to the lives of people on the ground?
Yes, this is one of the things I wanted to mention, is that exactly since in over 7 months, there was no cooking gas entering at all. And on Sunday, we saw the first trucks entering with cooking gas. So this is, of course, going to make a huge difference, because what we have been seeing in these past months is children and adults scouring through rubbish piles and dumping sites in search of things to burn, because, of course, also wood has been depleted most of the time, mostly across Gaza, and it's quite expensive to buy. So people would burn plastic and fabric and anything that they would find, which of course is also quite harmful to people's health. So this is going to make a huge difference.
Let me ask you, Olga, will the humanitarian response be able to catch up with the scale of the crisis, or is it still a race against time right now? Are you confident that you can reach all the communities, especially in those heavily damaged or isolated areas of Gaza?
Yeah, 3 months is fine.
Yeah, so we're finally able to reach these areas. Many of them.
So I'm reading here this UN Agency for Palestine Refugees says it only has enough food in storage for 3 months. Yeah, that's a good start, actually. I don't see that as a problem.
To reach before. What we have to keep...
Especially if we're talking about frozen meat and shit that expires. You know, beans, rice, flour, that's nice. It's practical. You can leave it there for years. It's not going to expire, but... things that you have to keep frozen, the meat, basically any kind of protein, sadly, except beans, they have a bit, but any kind of real protein, yeah, that has to be either kept frozen, which is energy, which is electricity that Palestine doesn't have, or yeah, right, like straight, fucking kill the cow, send it to, you know, refrigerated or something. But the truck can be refrigerated, that's fine, but once it enters, people have to fucking devour it. I don't know, can they freeze things? That's a good question. Over there where they are holding the aid, I wonder.
In mind is that we cannot be the only actor on the ground, and we're not. There is of course the commercial sector, which is bolstering the response. There are bilateral donations and
look at the air views of Gaza City. Shit. Fucking Armageddon.
And programs that are being implemented. And so
it looks like a fucking... It looks like one of these post-apocalyptic movies, like legit. Crazy.
We have always said that we cannot solve this issue if we are the only actor on the ground.
Well, let me ask you about the challenges.
For others to be.
Yeah, let me ask you about those challenges, because one of them, as you say, is because there are several actors on the ground, which can be a plus, but also a challenge. And moving this aid into Gaza isn't just about border crossings, right? The destruction is immense. There's debris everywhere, damaged roads, security concerns, and so many actors involved in the humanitarian response. How do you even begin to coordinate an aid operation of this size in these conditions?
Well, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do, actually. We coordinate the response. We lead to ensure that everybody is on the same page, that our priorities are aligned, and that there is no duplication and waste of resources, basically. But again, this is a very, very long journey. It has really only just begun, and we have so many things ahead of us that I'm sure we will face challenges. It's not going to be a perfect path, and the healing is only just beginning as well. So there is a lot of work, and we have started it, and we're full steam ahead. We're doing assessments, we're delivering supplies, we're delivering...
The United Nations estimates an amount of about 50 billion will be needed to reconstruct the Gaza Strip. No worries. BlackRock is there and to help. They'll be more than glad to help build, to help take those 50 billion and rebuild it. No problem.
Delivering food and working on rehabilitating the systems that have been destroyed over these months.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Olga, about this. Olga Sharevko, spokesperson for the UN.
Systems that have been destroyed over
many Israeli troops have filmed themselves. Oh, we don't know
these months.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Olga, about this. Olga Sharevko, spokesperson for the UN Humanitarian Affairs Office in Deir al-Balah, Gaza.
Thank you, Father.
Don't miss out to get the full picture. Subscribe to...
Okay, so I guess that's all we need to know for now regarding the aid. We know that so far 18 trucks only have gone in 24 hours. We cannot be so negative. Let's say it's just the start, and the plan is for 600 trucks per day to go in according to the plan. So now let's find out what's phase 2. Gaza peace plan phase 2. Let's see. Who's this idiot? Poland. That's a Polish flag. Oh no, he left him hanging? No, that's hilarious. Oh no. Oh no! He left him hanging. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Having an amazing.
Oh, that's Egypt, though. That's the Egypt flag, not the Polish flag. Yeah, that's Egypt.
Like I think nobody's seen before, and we had tremendous stuff, as you know, in Israel, and now we're in a country where a friend of mine is a very powerful leader, and my friend is right here, the president, also the general, you know.
President Trump, in Israel just now, you were talking about a possible Iran peace deal. You said, we are ready when
That's how you know this is a little bit of a red pill. That's how you know that the country is actually militarily, you know, they have a say. It's not like in the US, like the military just follows what the president says. In this case, they have a word, because when you see Trump acknowledging him, you know, who acknowledges the general of the military of a country? You talk about the president, blah, blah. They say, yeah, no, the general is also important, you know, I also have to mention him. This means that this is a read between the lines, that the military in Egypt is kind of in charge, or at least let's be generous and give them 50-50, you know.
And you are. Is that the ultimate goal with today's signing, to get enough?
Not Iran, but I think Iran will come along. They've been
signing to get. You said we are ready when you are. Is that the ultimate? Now you were talking about a possible Iran peace deal. You said we are ready when you are.
Iran peace deal.
Is that
would
the
be
ultimate
nice.
goal with today's signing, to get enough?
Not Iran, but I think Iran will come along. They've been battered and bruised, and you know they need some help. They have big sanctions, as you know, tremendous.
They need help, man. Iran is pissed, bro. Like, anybody would understand this. Yeah, they need help. They need you to stop with the sanctions. They did everything you promised, and you still didn't lift the sanctions. So what the fuck? It's the same fucking, you know, give me everything that I want, and I don't have to give anything back. It's just ridiculous. And then when they say like no, then they go like, you see, we offer. He said no. I give this example to people when they argue about the previous plans that the Palestinians rejected, and Israel uses that argument as, you see, they don't want peace. It's like, yeah, man, but what is in this plan? It's not just because they rejected it, it means something negative. If you would have a house that is worth $1 million, and I tell you, hey, I'll give you 50,000 for the house, and you go fuck yourself, and then I'm like, you see, I made a deal, I offered him the deal, he said no. What a dickhead he is. It's like, no, man, like, the deal has to be fair. You cannot just propose whatever the fuck, and then if they say no, then you use that for the next 100 years as the argument, like, we proposed something and they said no. That's not fair, man. That's not fair.
And the sanctions, I'd love to take the sanctions off when they're ready to talk.
Yeah, they are, motherfucker. they were talking. You were talking.
Well, they're going and looking for bodies. It's a pretty gruesome task, and they know where numbers are, as you know. I guess 5 or 6 are in yet now, but they're looking for bodies. They know the areas, and they search parties out, and they're doing it in conjunction with Israel, and they're going to be finding quite a few of them.
President Trump, can you tell us when phase 2 of the negotiations will begin?
Well, it started. It started as far as we're concerned. Phase 2 has started, and you know, the phases are all a little bit mixed in with each other. You're going to start cleaning up. If you look at Gaza, it needs a lot of cleanup. That's why when I talked in my speech, I talked about the debris. I used the word debris. That's debris times 10. So, but they're gonna really do a job. They have a lot of power. In another room, you have the wealthiest, some of the wealthiest nations in the world. All leaders, the big leaders are here. The emirs and the kings and everybody, and it's a very interesting group. I guess we have like 35 countries, and that's only because they were the 35 that we invited. Everybody that we invited came.
Thank you. ولكن عايزين نستكمل مسابقة وقف إطلاق النار ونقدر بصراحة كل الرهائن وحتى يعني للأسف الجثث المتبقية في أسرع وقت عشان تسبب الأزمات في إسرائيل ثم إدخال المساعدات ونستكمل باقي المراحل.
What we need to do now is to fixate the ceasefire, make sure that it maintains the state, that we can deliver all of the remaining bodies of the deceased. to their families, and this is very important, to bring in more humanitarian assistance into the Strip, and working very closely on following up the rest of steps that should be taken to make this successful.
Mr. President.
That sounds great. Give him a membership for the gym to this fat motherfucker so he can burn this fucking below the belt fat. Dude, not cool. Give him a gym membership. So, what is phase 2? I also heard that it's kind of not clear, right? Like there's a lot of wiggle room in this, in overall, not only in phase 2, but overall in this peace plan. It looks like we don't have information besides the one I given you at the beginning, which is yeah, that phase 2 means, I mean, I guess reconstruction trucks going in. I forgot to mention that. I heard about that too, from Egypt especially, like big machinery to take off all the rubble and debris or whatever. And then that's one of the things stipulated, that they're gonna start the cleanup, and also the aid, 600 trucks a day. And what else we got? We got the boots on the ground from international I don't know, sources, let's say. So I haven't heard any Middle Eastern, Arabic, only Egypt, any Middle Eastern country that is gonna put is gonna help put some boots on the ground. Egypt and Indonesia are the only two Islamic countries. However, I haven't heard Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Qatar, none of them offering troops. I haven't heard yet, maybe, but like I said, everything is just quite Israel PM's last minute cancellation. Yeah, right. It was the opposite. Last minute invitation, bro. Hamas on killing spree in Gaza to reset. Yeah. Propaganda. Donald Trump says Israel and Hamas agreed to first phase. Yeah, how about a second? Trump says phase 2. We just heard that one. It's not a lot about phase 2, huh? So Gaza peace deal phase deal phase 2. So there's not what we know about phase 2. Let's see. So the disarmament of Hamas and Gaza post-war government. Oh yeah, and the ethnocrats, or whatever, the technocrats they call them. The technocrats are this group of rich people that govern the West Bank. So they're supposed to be, yeah, technocrats, so involved in man, what's the name? Social media and stuff. Oh man, I forgot the name. In not big pharma, not the military complex, but that version for these digital people, the IT, the big IT, you can call it, you know, Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Peter Thiel and who else is there? Yeah, all of those names, you know. That's a technocrat, and these guys, they have Palestinian technocrats that are supposed to, they are ruling the West Bank, or they're the government of the West Bank. And yeah, it has been, I have heard that they're gonna take more power, but the question is, who are these technocrats influenced by? Who's telling them what to do? That's the ultimate question with having these people that I mean, not these people, but, we just need to know more about them. I'm not saying anything about being a technocrat. Like, it's, you know, the some of the ones that are based in the US are not good technocrats, not good people, or they have malicious plans, or a very, very distinct agenda that they want to impose on the population. However, not every technocrat is like that. So maybe these are the good guys in the West Bank. I doubt it, especially since I heard also that the central bank is gonna be involved in all of this also, with the technocrat government and with the rebuilding of Gaza and stuff like this. So the central bank being involved is already a huge question mark. Like, it just brings even more questions actually. So let's see what we know about phase 2.
Here's okay.
Very fresh article.
This took 3,000 years
Yes.
to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up too. It's going to hold up.
Oh, this is the signing yesterday actually. He's still in Sharm el Sheikh. Yeah, this is in Sharm el Sheikh.
Have a pen? Want to use mine? Okay.
Yeah, so this was yesterday. Signing the peace deal, Trump and his counterpart. What's the name of the president of Egypt? Let's find that out in a second. I'm also learning, guys. I'm also learning. There's always enough room to learn more. There's a lot of countries. If the first phase, I think, man, are they not talking about the second phase because they don't expect the first phase to hold up? Key demands on both sides, namely a ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the hostages, that's done. The second would focus on rebuilding the enclave in a way that guarantees lasting peace and security. So the second phase deal is fucking years. It could be years long if you're focusing on rebuilding. Trump acknowledged on Monday that the path to peace will be winding. The phases of the deal are all a little bit mixed with each other. Yeah, no shit, it's complicated. He said that, yeah, that means it's like, yeah, you know, we don't want to be specific about it. Assuring later that elements can still be taken out of order in a positive way. Yeah, don't even think about taking it out of order in a negative way. The US President's formula for peace is outlining a 20-point plan unveiled at the end of September. The proposal contains a few short time frames for the immediate pressures, as well as a number of more abstract committees to the future. Israel said it accepts the terms during its presentation on September 29th. That was in New York, in the White House, or was that in the White House? That probably in the White House on Monday after the UN conference in New York. But negotiations with Hamas on phase 2 are ongoing. Phase 2 is still, oh shit, they are still negotiating, Trump said on Monday. Okay, so phase 2 is not even like written on stone. That's interesting. That means, yeah, shit, that means that anything can change. You know, one of the biggest problems with this whole peace deal is Hamas disarming. This is like the biggest, like, I would think it's actually Israel leaving Gaza, basically pulling all the troops out, but because I don't think they're gonna agree to that either. However, it is also very controversial. One of the most biggest obstacles, let's say, of this peace deal is Hamas disarming. Some people are trying to, like, the common sense side. I mean, of course, Israel is just saying, give me all your guns, and that's it. And I pinky promise I will do my side of, I keep up with my side of the deal. It's very hard to trust whatever he says. So some people are suggesting, like, interventionist, you know, the French, the English, or whatever. Something about giving or even Hamas itself, I think they said that we will give our guns to the new government of Palestine, Palestinian people, not to Israel. So, or when, you know, when a new military is set up or whatever, but they don't want to give, Hamas doesn't want to give the little power they have, which is basically their small guerrilla military made of people in shorts, sandals, and t-shirts, and with very limited technology, if any. If they can charge the solar panels enough to have electricity so they can fire one rocket today, that would be nice. Or charge the drone. They have drones? I doubt they have drones, man. But yeah, challenges to the peace. Maybe they'll talk about what. Israel forces withdrew to an agreed line, what we said, like to the 53% line. Can we find, that would be a nice visual, right? To see if we can find man, what did they call it? But actually, wait a second. They call it the agreed line, peace plan agreed line in Gaza to retreat. Maybe we can put IDF in there. Okay, give me some good quality though. Map of Gaza shows how Israel forces will withdraw under ceasefire deal. In the first phase of the ceasefire, Israel would remain in control of nearly 60%. Yeah, 53 I think is the real number. In the early hours, this is Al Jazeera, by the way, of course. In the early hours of Wednesday morning, as we know, I'm sorry, I completely skipped this part of the whole show, which is how reliable are these sources. And Al Jazeera, in case people don't know them, well, first of all, I only focus on bias if somebody's giving their opinion. You know, I mean, some of the headlines are very obvious clickbaits or propaganda, but people that are just expressing facts, like this, for example, this Times of India explosion in Cairo, this and this and this happened, and this and this and this, but no suspect of mal, blah blah blah. But if you would put, let's say, if you would put there in this Times of India video that we watched at the beginning of the show, if you would put there, for example, Egyptian authorities say there's no suspicion of malintentions. Instead of, you could have put Egyptian authorities don't suspect any Hamas intervention or Israeli intervention. And then you know that this channel or these people are kind of, you know, if you're putting Hamas or Israel in there, it means you're either, if you put Hamas in there, you're pro-Israel. If you put Israel in there, you're pro-Palestine. So in that, you know, which is what we don't want. We don't want anybody being biased on any side. We just want the facts. It will determine. That's the point. That's why we're doing all this. I'm checking the news myself with you guys, so we can all, you know, make a conclusion together, and not, you know, by Mohammed Haddad or whatever the fuck. So in the early hours of Wednesday morning, Gaza, United States President Trump announced that Gaza and Israel has agreed. Okay, so I guess one of the things that is established about the plan, 58, not 53. So they get to keep all of this land. Or is the yellow Israel? Yellow Israel retains. So Israel is keeping all of this 1.5 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 3.5 away from the Israeli border, just to keep people away from the border, I guess. And they are safeguarding all of this yellow area. Okay. So here are the 20 points. We know them all. Map published by the official White House Rapid Response X account. Israel military current line of control is here. Initial withdrawal is gonna be here, and then the second withdrawal, the second phase, they're gonna withdraw a bit higher, maybe give them 15% more, and then the third withdrawal would still include presence in Gaza. They're not fully retreating. Yeah, they're gonna call it the security buffer zone. Very nice, very nice. Let's go back to this one about the second phase. But now we know the map. Now we can picture it. Already there has been some movements on terms. Initially, Hamas were supposed to release 48 hostages alive or dead within 72 hours. Yeah, but nobody took that seriously. Israel families were incensed to learn on Monday that not all of the remains of these hostages would be returned by the deadline. Israeli sources told CNN. Yeah, because they're fucking under rubble, man. You cannot pick them up in 2 days. Hamas may not be able to recover all the bodies by the dead. Well, dude, again. But Defense Minister Israel Katz said an intentional delay would be about... Intentional? How do you know it's intentional? This is the thing, man. You're putting the intention on other people. How do you know it's intentional? They just gave you 20... Why would they want to give... Why do they want to keep the 28 dead ones, man? After they gave you... That's just ridiculous rhetoric, you know? It's man, it's another like aggressive, you know, whatever. The ceasefire is fragile and no shit. Negotiations are adapting in real time. There we go. So we are still negotiating, as we read, perhaps intentionally. The 20-point framework does not define many hard conditions, leaving some space for discussion before heading to Egypt. Trump told reporters, it's all a little bit mixed. It's not going to be just divided down so simply. We can no longer advance. Yeah, I guess it's better just to do it step by step after, previous experiences, we'll call them. The ceasefire that came into effect on October 10 should pave the way for the unrestricted flow of aid. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for as soon as possible. Hopefully today or tomorrow, I guess, since they are a bit ahead in hours. I guess some hours ahead of us. It's not office hours there anymore. Or maybe it is. So Jack Auxiliaries, a United Nations Development Program, told reporters on Tuesday that there were very good indications that countries, including the United States as well as Arab Europeans, they were willing to contribute 70 billion, not 50, to rebuild Gaza. Again, BlackRock is very happy to take that money. He estimated that the 2-year war had generated at least 55 million tons of rubble. Jesus, that's a lot. 55 million. The full withdrawal of the Israel military is contingent upon Hamas disarming. This is where we have the biggest problem. According to the agreement, an Israeli withdrawal from its control 53%. You see, I was not crazy. It's 53 of the strip will be necessary for a comprehensive rebuilding operation. Concerns that this could have derailed Gaza's rebuilding were assured someone when Trump implied Hamas has been giving approval to act as a Palestinian police. Interesting. For a period of time, so you don't trust them. First you say they're killing their own citizens, and now you trust them to police their own citizens. Like, how is that? How can you support both of those things? That makes no sense. Obviously, if they don't care about them and they kill them indiscriminately, then them being the police, it's like saying, oh shit, okay, so imagine Hitler won or whatever in some parallel universe, and it's like, oh, okay, so now to establish, like Germany is established, and now because we cannot kill all these whatever million Jews are left that didn't go somewhere else, so now the Nazis, the SS, is gonna be the official police force of the Jews. It's like, dude, the fucking Jews is like, what? Are you serious? That makes no sense. But yeah, obviously, this is why I have all these problems, like calling these names, and before the election, Trump is Hitler or whatever, and then Trump wins, and everybody's like, yeah, it's okay, he won, good job. Dude, if you really believe Hitler just won, or if you really believe like some kind of fascist dictator just won, how would you give him the keys just like that? I don't know. For me, it just sounds... It's very obvious, the propaganda, that they don't mean what they say. They say that they think he's a Nazi or Hitler or fascist, but in reality, he's just flaming. Again, details are unclear. Even in principle, the involvement of foreign policy in Gaza remains tricky. Yeah, no shit, it's tricky. Unless there is clear buying buy in. What does that mean? From Palestinians, buy in, so that somebody's gonna buy the land. Yeah, because BlackRock has $10 trillion in assets. They have enough money to buy all that shit. And build hotels, I guess. I guess this Trump Riviera is gonna happen, right? Unless there is clear buy-in from Palestinian elements on the ground, from Palestinian elements, to include Hamas, which opposes the idea. It is hard to imagine any Arab forces willing to deploy on the ground. I don't know what that means. I thought they were still talking about rebuilding. What comes after Hamas? The original plan describes a transitional government. Here it is. Technocratic and apolitical. Yeah, right. Nobody's apolitical. Managing the overall running of Gaza, overseen by an international body called the Board of Peace. Yeah, Tony Blair and his goons. The proposal suggests an interim government. Here it is. Mahmoud Abbas. He's the president of Palestine. Attended the summit of PA. Isn't PA Palestine? I thought Palestine was not invited to the peace summit in Egypt. That's what we read a bit before. And a senior Palestinian official attended the summit in Egypt. Also, Palestinians did come. So you see, somebody lied to us back there. A senior Palestinian official told Sir Tony Blair, pegged for a role on the Board of Peace on Sunday, that the group was ready to work with him. So Palestinians were invited. It was just Netanyahu that wasn't. So you see, that is a good example. Probably that one that said that neither Palestinians or neither, Hamas. But you see, that's a very good example. Because you say Hamas is not invited. Yeah, but Palestinian authorities are there. However, on the other side, not only Netanyahu is not invited, but Israel is also not invited. Nobody from Israel was there. So it's a shame that we went... I don't know which video that was anymore, but that source is probably Israeli propaganda. The one trying to balance things and saying, yeah, Israel is not invited, but neither is Hamas, by the way. And then Palestinian diplomats are there. That's cheap. You know, that's just that's cheating, kind of. There are issues with installing... What the fuck is the PA? Is the PA this peace agreement? What the fuck? Okay, wait a second. Let's find out what PA is. Because I thought it meant Palestine, but it doesn't. The Palestinian Authority. And President Hamas, president of the Palestinian Authority. So it does mean Palestinians. There are issues with installing a Palestinian Authority, the governing body based in the West Bank, run by Fatah, a rival to Hamas, is unpopular. Yeah, but whatever. It's unpopular with Palestinians, and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has already rejected their rule in Gaza. Really? Even though they're against Hamas. Okay, so they rule they rule the West Bank, but they cannot rule Gaza. Edmond Fitton Brown, a former British ambassador and international security expert, suggested Gaza could end up with the gradual and potential highly problematic constitution, sort of a Jordanian Egyptian. Yeah, not really, because the Jordan and Egypt don't border each other, so that's easier. So here is, do they border each other? Kind of. I mean, they have a sea in the middle, but this is Israel here. Let's go back to this. I think that makes it easier. So you see, this is Israel here. This is Jordan here. So they have the sea a little bit. It's not the same than this line, you know, or this line. Like, yeah, not the same at all. Reinforced by international establishment could include small numbers of peacekeeping. This international stabilization force, and they're gonna have an army now, which includes small numbers of peacekeeping troops from all over the world. That's what I heard, I guess. There are varying figures. The cost of rebuilding, we know, is expensive as fuck. And Jaco said, could declare even rebuild Palestine enclave after years. Palestinian health authorities say the campaign against blah blah blah. Israel bombarded Gaza after Hamas led an incursion into southern Israel. Yeah, we know the October 7th thing. Good. So I guess So I guess it all comes down to this. So let's retrace our steps. So the explosion in Cairo, complete accident. This camera is not centered. The explosion in Cairo, complete accident. The summit was actually in another city at the coast. So yeah, nothing there. We also believe in accidents. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. Then when it comes to the aid, we know that the aid is part, I guess, is part of the second phase. So the first phase is retreat, Israel retreats, and prisoner exchange. That's first phase. First phase is done. Second phase is aid comes in, 600 trucks a day. So far, 18 trucks have gone in the one day, I guess, of the deal. Then it's disarming is gonna be phase 3, I'm sure. Then it's rebuilding, and so far we know that Egypt is I don't know if they're in already, or they were pushing to bring heavy machinery into Gaza so they can start, taking the rubble. This is the first thing. You cannot build shit now, so you have to flatten all this land. What did they say? 25 square miles or whatever the fuck, I don't know. You have to flatten this, take all the rubble out, and just make it possible for reconstruction first. That's gonna take time. I don't want to say, some people say, I have heard crazy shit like 20 years. That's not realistic, but it also doesn't take 2 weeks, Let's say 6 months, maybe a year, I don't know. We will see. That's also happening. During that time, apparently, some what did they call it? During that time, Hamas is gonna be policing its own citizens, and this what's the name of this new international stabilization force is gonna come in with military from international countries, from people from all over the world. And then also I guess that's it for now. Parallel to that, you have the technocrats are gonna decide who's gonna be the ruler of Gaza. So this is the kind of flimsy points, the things that are not fixed yet, the things that are like, yeah, we'll figure it out as we go step by step. Let's wait for the phase 1 to hold so we can plan on phase 2. And now phase 2 is quite extensive. I think we're gonna be in phase 2 for a while, and phase 2 is gonna slowly build itself from the ground, which is let these people eat something, put their feet up, chill for a bit, and then start rebuilding, see how everything develops, right? Of course, we are assuming that there's not gonna be an attack, either a real terrorist attack or a false flag during this time, because when that happens, things normally go to shit. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope the best for peace. This is what we are here promoting, is non-violence, peace. Sit down, have a beer, and let's find something everybody can agree with. But yeah, with some people you cannot negotiate with. Some people have just ridiculous high standards and they are unwilling to be flexible regarding those standards. And that's when it gets complicated, when they are like, when one side or sometimes both sides don't want to compromise, right? So let's see. That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and paying attention, and I hope you like it. And please like, subscribe, and all that, comment and all that shit. And I will see you tomorrow for more news. Peace.